First City Focus is supported in part by First Vincennes Savings Bank, a community lender committed to making loan decisions locally. Online at frsb.net. Good Samaritan, a regional healthcare center offering a variety of services from primary care to same-day joint replacement surgery and more. Good Samaritan online at gshvin.org. Duke Energy, powering the lives of its customers and communities. Online at duke-energy.com. And by Vincennes PBS members, thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to First City Focus. I'm your host, Nicole Carey. On this episode, we're going to revisit some of the great stories we've brought you so far in 2024, but we're going to start with a news story first. As Vincennes University's women's basketball coach, Harry Meeks, is retiring after 3 decades at the helm. We'll then take another look at Project Search and how the program aims to integrate special needs young adults into full-time employment. Vincennes University's conservation law program puts students through a grueling 24-hour challenge, and we'll take another journey on some of Indiana's bike trails. We have these stories and more right now on First City Focus. Well, after more than 3 decades as the VU women's head basketball coach, Harry Meeks is now celebrating his retirement. As Nicole Cardano-Hillary explains, there is a lot to celebrate throughout his successful career leading the Trailblazers.
An induction into the Hall of Fame and 33 years later, Harry Meeks has decided to retire. Under his leadership, the women's basketball team achieved unprecedented success, making him the most successful basketball coach in VU history.
33 years of outstanding service to Vincennes University. 1991, was appointed women's basketball coach. 34 seasons, 750 wins. 2010, appointed athletic director, and 2020 Hall of Fame inductee. Coach.
President Chuck Johnson presented Meeks with an award dedicated to his outstanding service to Vincennes University at his retirement reception. After 33 years of passion and loyalty to the game of basketball, retiring was one thing Meeks and those around him thought to be implausible.
People call and things like that and congratulate me on deciding to retire. Majority of them thought I would never retire, in which I would like that very much. Since my wife passed away, I've just dedicated myself completely to the basketball, but time to move on.
Without much hesitation, Meeks reminisces on one of his proudest career moments.
Well, getting into the Hall of Fame, that's by far. There's not many people that make it to the Hall of Fame. There's a lot of JC coaches. I think that's the thing that I'm proudest of.
Ingrida Hartsfield has been with Meeks for many years, as a former player, as well as his assistant coach, and now taking the interim head coaching position. She says the impact Meeks has had in her life is far beyond just basketball.
I don't think I would ever have made it to that next step to, Division I, and even coaching him, giving me opportunity to come back and coach with him. He just always has been as a father figure for me, and he has a lot to do with molding me who I am today.
Hartsfield is just one of the many bonds Meeks has developed throughout his years. And interestingly enough, when asked what he will miss most, Meeks speaks on the importance of the relationships he has built throughout his career.
Camaraderie. I'm going to miss my time with the people in the office, especially Lisa Tucker and Todd Franklin. Both of them have been tremendous help to me. Lisa, in running the office, is priceless. You cannot get any better than that. Those are the two closest people to me here.
The game of basketball will miss having a coach as dedicated and passionate as Meeks. However, his impact will live on. With this new chapter in his life, Meeks is most excited about getting to spend time with his grandkids. For First City Focus, I'm Nicole Cardano-Hillary.
Upon Meeks' retirement, VU officials have named Ingrida Hartsfield as the interim head coach of the women's basketball team for the next year. Hartsfield played for Meeks from 2010 to 2012 and has been an assistant coach on the bench for several seasons. Well, a special program growing across the country aims to help make the transition into adulthood a more fluid and successful journey for young adults with different challenges. In our regional area, you can find Project Search at Deaconess Gateway and the Women's Hospital in Newburgh. As Allison Bowers and photojournalist Dave Novak show us, Project Search is helping to make full-time employment more of a reality for many of these young adults.
And the hash brown?
Yes, please.
Anything else?
That's good.
Okay.
I like how he responds and we get along so well. I mean, he's a good hard worker.
Project Search prepares young adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities for success in competitive, integrative employment. What started as a small program at the Cincinnati Children's Hospital has now grown to 717 other locations around the world. We recently got to spend the day at Deaconess Hospital in Newburgh to learn just how this program is impacting lives locally.
Project Search means giving these young adults with disabilities a new life. So many of them come in not knowing who they are, not believing in themselves. And so what Project Search does is lets them and teaches them to be the best of the best, and knowing that in order to be the best of the best, they have to believe it to achieve it. In that time, it is self-reflection. It's finding out who they are. It's finding out what makes them, tick, their strengths and their weaknesses. And so we work on that for the 3 weeks.
During their time in Project Search, interns train on the job with current Deaconess employees. We talked to several trainers who all shared their positive perspectives.
They're very excited to come in here, learn new things. If anything, learn new things. They love coming in and being able to interact with my team, with myself, with the individuals around the hospital.
Learning is an imperative part of Project Search, and not just for the interns. Lisa Thompson has been training an intern in the kitchen department and has found the perfect recipe for success as a trainer.
Patience, understanding, lots of love.
Project Search is made up of 3 weeks of an orientation, and then they go into 3 10-week rotations. That first 3 weeks is probably the most important of the intern's life at Project Search. But we do teach 10 employable skills, which are important for them to be successful in employment. But the most important thing is they have to believe in themselves.
Because I'm the best of the best.
It really gives the interns that come through the program the mindset that they have the world at their fingertips just like everyone else.
It's like night and day. A lot of these kids, I just need some structure, really needing some motivation, and just staying on that task of doing things that they need to do within our department.
It's totally amazing to see where they come in. I like to lighten it as they come in as little buds, and what they do through their achievements and their successes, they grow into a beautiful flower. The skills are modeled, and they're taught, and they're retaught. The interns go away with a skill that they never knew they could possess.
Time management, knowing what time.
Your skills and getting a job. I hope to get hired.
The transition part of a young adult with disabilities has not always been thought about, has not always been worked on, and Project Search does that. Project Search gives these young adults that ability to, yes, they can have a productive life and they can live on their own.
The goal of Project Search is to give the interns the employable skills they need to work at their choice of place of employment. Interns are not given a guaranteed job at Deaconess upon completion of their internship. Just like every other Project Search location, they must use their skills and be hired just like anybody else who would be applying for an open position. Program specialist Joy Burris says they have an overall 75% hire rate upon completion of the Project Search and are hosted by many different kinds of businesses.
Primarily, we are in hospitals because that's where we were created, and that is because a hospital is like a microcosm of society. It's got a lot of different areas that have to make that hospital work.
Right.
So we are in manufacturing. We are in we have a program in the Smithsonian. One of the Smithsonian's museums. We have some programs in zoos, military installations, manufacturing, distribution centers. So we have a wide variety of programs.
My favorite thing is just like what we talked about is from day one to the end, how much that individual just learns and how much they're willing to learn. It's awesome to see them, be timid and then, but also just once they grab a hold, they just want more. And you see that, and then you see that they went from, I sometimes even forget they're a student. So, and that is just the most favorite thing to me is that them transitioning from that to, an employee. Sometimes I think the line completely blurs, is that by the end of the semester, I forget.
Transitioning from student to employee is something that comes with unique challenges for everyone. But we talked to some graduates of the Project Search program who are now full-time Deaconess employees, and they are thriving.
It felt really good because I had a job where I can start earning money and getting paid, but I feel really good about having a job and getting paid and doing what I'm doing because I love what I do.
At first it was a little stressful, but I kind of learned to adapt. It made my parents proud, and I kind of felt pretty happy about it.
They realize that they're going to be getting paid for something that they enjoy doing, and seeing that confidence, that is a plus. But then also seeing the parents, because as a parent with a child that has disabilities, all you want for your child is to be like everybody else. And then when they go through Project Search and they are employed, it's amazing because they then realize that their child can be productive and is just a valued part of society.
So the parents say that they've seen their kid just grow, mature. They've turned into young men, young women.
When we first start, we have the interns talk about their disabilities, because I want them to know that, yes, all of you do have a disability, but are you going to let that disability define on who you are and what you can accomplish?
Because the individuals that I have seen come through this door have all taken something away from it, from little to big, and most of the time it's big.
Project Search is only continuing to grow and impact the lives of everyone involved. The bonds that these interns are making with everyone around them in the workplace will last forever.
He's very kind-hearted, loves his adventures, and there should be more people like him out there in the world. Make a whole lot nicer world.
For First City Focus and photojournalist Dave Novak, I'm Allison Bowers.
Learn more about Project Search by following a special page on our website, vincennes.pbs.org. Well, the goal of many academic programs at Vincennes University aim to give students real-life experience. And for those looking to enter various departments of law enforcement, the VU Conservation Law program is no different, especially where a recent 24-hour challenge comes into play. Students were taken through scenarios that rival any law enforcement academy they'll find themselves at before entering the workforce. Photojournalist Dave Novak takes us along through the Green Mile Challenge.
Well, I'm a little bit of a physical junkie. I like to run, swim, hike, do it all. But I really noticed that in the morning that not a lot of people wanted to do the PT test. But I think I got everyone up and going.
Hey, don't quit. This is kind of my goal, is to prepare them for an academy someday that they're actually going to go to, where there's a lot of stress and they just got to get through it. I've told them the whole time, just keep moving.
For the next 24 hours, we're going to be doing a wide variety of things that are related to the career of a conservation officer. Now take your stick and put it in that loop. So now take that all the way across, and 2 hard wraps.
I've always loved law enforcement, and I decided to mix my passions of the outdoors and law enforcement together. And I stumbled across this place, and perfect match.
So now what I did is I just used a friction hold. So we want to get that thing as tight as we possibly can, because when we hang that tarp on there, it's gonna sag big time.
I've always wanted to be a CO since I was a little kid,
And, you know, I was in high school and I didn't make the best grades in the world, but I talked to Eric Doan one day on the phone in August. It kind of changed my life. I taught myself how to swim. I taught myself how to do all the essentials to be a game warden. So we started out with our debris hut building. So what we have here is known as a debris hut. So we start off, we got a bit of a lean-to, as you can see, coming down the middle. That's our main support beam. And then we all took in and put up like our stilts or our sticks. And then after we get the sticks in, it's very important to have insulation because you never know what the weather's going to be.
So if I get that a little bit finer, good chance it will actually take a spark. There we go.
My main pocket here, I got my water, which I have water in my cooler in my truck. I got bug spray, a new can. I've got a headlamp that's fully charged, has a couple settings. I like being outdoors, and I grew up, you know, fishing with my dad, and I just heard, you know, conservation officers, like their job's just really interesting. And I did some research on some schools, and I found Vincennes University conservation program. So I figured, why not just give it a try?
You know, you wouldn't happen to have been deer hunting, would you? You
No.
would just, okay, so we saw that you had shot 3 times.
Yeah, I shot
some squirrels.
squirrels and that
Yep.
coyote, because I want to make a coyote hat.
Right. You want to make that coyote hat. So,
Right.
so what's the deal with the slug there? You know anything about the slug?
Well, all right, I'm sorry I lied to you, man.
Well, actually doing the one-on-one scenarios, it's like you really get to see that firsthand.
You got your turkey license on you?
Yeah, sure do. I got it last night. We talked to a guy who is a ginseng digger, and he tried to talk us out of it and tell us it's yellow root. So they know, they do it every day. They see people and what they try to use and try to confuse you. So they're going to do it to us. So by them being experts on it, they can really teach you everything you need to know.
Look on our approach, you remember that deep pillar. Hi there, how you doing tonight, sir?
How's it going, man?
Oh, not too bad. The reason I stopped you, your license plate's expired. You know that?
I didn't know that.
Okay, you mind if I see your license, registration,
Nope.
insurance, please? Awesome, thank you, sir.
Yep.
All right. I'll be right back with you.
Okay.
I love to swim. I grew up on a lake. It's really helped me train through it. I actually go to the Y here in town and swim a mile every other day. I'm confident in the water. I could see that a lot of our fellow classmates were not. But I think that what Doan taught us in the water is going to help them a lot, and it showed everybody what they needed to work on.
At the end of swimming there, I was pretty cold. I had to get in the hot tub because I was shaking so bad. That was pretty humbling that I got so cold.
Get to the road and then we switch.
As far as the search and rescue scenario goes, you know, I feel like a lot of us started to think like, you know, we had to think of a perfect plan, but in all reality, in our scenario with as many people as we had, we needed to just jump into it. You know, our top priority is to find that person. So, you know, that was only 3 hours, and that was physically and mentally exhausting. And we had a very small search, you know, area in that scenario. You think about the Hoosier National Forest, you know, our person was last seen here. You have no idea where they could be. I mean, that could take 3 to 4 days. You know, it's, you know, mental strain, physical strain. So I think that was a really good example of a real life look into what it could be like.
It made communication a really big thing. So you were either talking and helping, or you were talking and not helping, or just weren't talking. Kind of made point of who the leaders are.
The search and rescue, it really opened up my eyes to what I'm actually going to need to be prepared for, what I need to look for, what specific things I need to enhance at.
I think the most fun part was honestly just being with everybody for 24 hours. That was a super cool thing. Like, we're all with each other, you know, we're all going through the struggles together. Everyone's together as a team. We're all lifting each other up, and we're all helping each other, like giving encouragement and motivation. I thought that was just really cool.
For more information on VU's Conservation Law Program, follow a link on our website. Well, Vincennes PBS and WVUB are both involved with Indiana Public Broadcasting Stations, or better known as IPBS. A recent statewide effort we have taken on is highlighting different infrastructure efforts across the state in a series we call Beyond Bridges. In this next feature, we're going to show you how the future expansion of bike trails throughout the state is getting a boost thanks to funding and the use of technology.
Dustin New has some creative ideas for the future of transportation. He's an active transportation planner for the Michiana Region's Planning Council, known as MACOG.
Basically, my focus is things that are not motorized and how people use those to get around. So bikes, scooters, walking.
He's occasionally just called the trails guy.
There we go.
His job on many days is to crunch mapping data for over 160 miles of trails in 4 counties. But on other days,
On the nice sunny days like this, to get out on the trail and record some data.
and he records that data just by riding this bike.
So this is our data bike.
News says the bike is the first of its kind in Indiana.
The key piece is the phone. It's just a standard smartphone. So as you're riding along the trail, you hit bumps, the phone vibrates. It records that as an anomaly in the road or in the trail, and we get that data of the condition of the trail. Up top has a 360-degree camera, so we'll get kind of a street view. We're calling it the trail view. And then it also has a camera on the back that shoots downward. The idea is that we can then develop a GIS map where you can see the condition of the trails graphically. So you could literally look at a photograph of what created that rough condition. It could be poor pavement, it could be pavement change, whatever it may be, but you can then evaluate it and decide if it needs to be fixed immediately, longer term, planning for fixing it, and then develop a budget for it.
That last part about budgeting for trail maintenance, that's the culture shift that New hopes to encourage within the region his planning council serves.
Each of the communities within that area or counties has responsibilities for maintaining their trails. There may be, but I'm not aware of any community that has a budget item or a line item for trail maintenance. And that's the problem. It's always something has to be given up somewhere else in a budget to make that happen.
Lack of funding for routine trail upkeep is not a local problem. A decade ago, the Ohio River Greenway published this manual for trail maintenance, calling deferred trail maintenance a nationwide issue. Part of that issue lies in how trails are typically funded. Since 2019, Indiana's Next Level Trails program has invested $180 million to develop more than 217 miles of trails in 58 counties. It's the largest infusion of state funding for trails in Indiana's history. The program has funded 89 trail projects so far, favoring projects that make connections between other trails or communities. And while the ultimate vision for the future is a system of interconnected trails across the entire state,
where the actual trails go, though, is generally going to be a local decision and pushed by the local community.
Building 1 mile of new trail can cost a local community between $800,000 and $1.2 million, depending on how it's constructed. Maintaining that mile of trail once it's built is generally cheaper. Estimates range from $1,000 to $10,000 per mile per year. However, and here's the issue, the grants that help local communities build trails generally won't pay to maintain trails, but they do require local communities to have a maintenance plan. That's why MACOG is getting creative, providing local governments the data they need to prioritize trails like roads.
MACOG looks at trails as an asset to the community. And part of what is typically done with roadways, for instance, is communities have an asset management plan to kind of quantify the condition of their roadways. We have the thought that that could be applied to trails as well, but we needed a way to do that.
MACOG already has data on trail usage. Sensors like this one capture how many people go by and when, and even distinguish who's walking and who's on a bike, making it easy to see that many trail users are actually commuters.
There are upticks in the time of day that we have the most traffic. It's mornings and afternoons when people are going to work and people are coming home from work. It's not all recreational. That's, kind of the approach that we're starting to take is that if you plan trails for people to commute on, you get both benefits without having to just focus on one.
If it works, the data-driven approach could unlock new sources of funding.
Just like the asset management plans can be used to develop budgets from highway dollars, whether it be federal or state, we think you should be able to utilize those same pools of money to maintain your trails in your community. So that's kind of the goal, is to try and get people to see the opportunity, and then you've also got to create the opportunity. Trails are the opportunity to give people to use something other than their car.
To review the most recent funding that was awarded by Governor Holcomb for the Next Level Trails, as well as a map of all the Next Level Trails recipients, you can visit our website, vincentspbs.org. And now it's time for our final focus. Several days throughout the school year, we are more than happy to open our doors and host students of all ages inside our studios. Recently, the Princeton Middle School and the Washington High School media students spent time with us. We took them behind the scenes of our stations, giving them the chance to learn more about the broadcasting industry.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
It's an outstanding group of young kids that really get creative. They have a lot of fun with it. The basis of our class is kids put together the morning announcements each day for the whole school. It's called Tiger Talk. They get very creative with their blooper reels. They do this day in history. They get the birthday, sports announcements, recaps, highlights.
Good morning, Tigers.
The most fun part of the class is being with my best friend Breland on air and just having fun and being on air with her every single day.
Definitely the bloopers. Hanging out with my friends. I have all my friends in that class.
The store has been really fun, and it's helped me learn a lot about more things that is out in the world, and I didn't know any of this was out here, but now I do, and it's been really fun.
It's definitely cool. I love like the podcasts and just like there's so many, like there's a variety of stuff you can do. There's
thing that really hit me is we were walking up the street. One of the students just saw the mural on the side of the building and was like, this is gonna be lit. Another student was in here just saying, I am geeking out at all the technology in the studios and how cool it is. He even talked about maybe wanting to be a meteorologist one day.
UV index will be 4 to 11 today.
The switcher has gotten bigger, and we have 3 cameras.
The audio I found pretty interesting, and felt like take really good attention to detail. You had to listen to what they were saying, make sure you did it right. Big part of the...
I didn't expect it to be this nice, I'm not gonna lie. I've seen this room and it's really high tech and it's really nice in here, yeah.
We got a brief introduction in the radio room. It was very neat to see all the different controls, and then we came down here to the television part of it and we got to run some broadcasting and do a little bit behind the scenes.
Welcome back to Weather. I'm Ali Mazingo.
And that's all for this edition of First City Focus. For everyone here at Vincent's PBS, I'm Nicole Carey. We'll see you again next week.
First City Focus is supported in part by First Vincent Savings Bank, a community lender committed to making loan decisions locally. Online at frsb.net. Good Samaritan, a regional healthcare center offering a variety of services from primary care to same-day joint replacement surgery and more. Good Samaritan online at gshvin.org. Duke Energy, powering the lives of its customers and communities. Online at duke-energy.com. And by Vincent's PBS members, thank you.